question, and we're going to start with Mr. Robinson here. Okay. Please explain how you see the interplay between public safety and economic development affecting our communities in District 8.
So if a city council member can be thrown to the ground and harassed, then any one of us can. And as an African-American male driving around South Phoenix, I am highly aware that I could be the next victim. And the reality is, after Michael Johnson, our council member, was thrown to the ground unjustly, we served on a community engagement and outreach task force, some of us here in the city. And on that task force, what we talked about is how to make public safety serve us. And how to make public safety serve us is changing the perception of what it means to be a South Phoenician and what it means to be served by your police force. Same tax dollars that serve police officers in Ahwatukee serve the ones down here. And if your neighborhoods are safe, your land values are higher. If your kids aren't disproportionately targeted by cops, then it means that they're going to have better opportunities to achieve their goals. And frankly, if your neighborhoods are working together with law enforcement and neighbors, everybody wins. And that's what we must do.
Thank you.
There's definitely a connection between public safety and economic development. It is proven by statistics that as people rise on the economic ladder, the community changes, there's less crime, there's less poverty, and so that would enable the police officers, the police and public safety to be able to do their jobs even better than what they are doing now. Public safety, I would add, needs to involve community policing, more block watches, school resource officers as the money is available to assist in safety in our schools. So there's a definite connection between economic development and public safety, and I would dare say that any police department leader would welcome a city council person to advance economic development because it would affect the entire community for the better.
Thank you. Ms. Lowry.
I don't really know how to answer this question. There's so many things involved. When we talk about the police, you guys know, if you didn't know me at all, you know that I fought police brutality all my life. That's been one of the things that's been against me. I was tough enough to fight against police brutality, and that's been held against me by my people. But the thing about it, after we just watched this thing with Trayvon, we know that we all need to come together before we can do anything economically or anyway. We can't work together. You can't even work with me if you can't stand the way I even look. You know what I'm saying? We've got to find a way, you guys, to come together and fight all these issues that the city is facing right now. Environmental issues, criminal justice, and it all. We can do it all if we're together. That's the only thing I can say about it.
Mr. Rodriguez?
Well, the issue of security to economic development is critical. The bottom line is that any business, is very reluctant to set up shop when it's unsecure. In an unsecure area where there's no security, you're being vandalized every other week, graffiti, etc. You don't want to put your business there because it costs a lot of money. Now, business people are at a disadvantage as it is. They're small and they have a lot of stuff to do, and their money is tight. So the last thing they want to do is worry about whether or not they're going to be in a secure environment. So it's critical to have security within the community in order to stoke economic development. Now, there's a lot of other issues that have been mentioned, but as it relates to security specifically to economic development, it's critical. It's critical to have a secure environment where economic activity can flourish, where entrepreneurs want to come and they want to put their businesses, and they know that the money they invest is going to be well spent.
Thank you. All right. On to the next question. Now, you've had several forums so far. Probably many more to go. I think your goal is to have 10 or 15. That's a lot. Right? You're like, what? And in the last few forums, almost all the candidates, I believe, have been optimistic about the Loop 202 freeway being built. And so this next question refers to that. What is your opinion about the highway coming through South Mountain? And we're going to start with you, Mr. Roberts.
2 in a row.
Oh, was that
Yeah.
the third one? Okay, so be Mr. Reverend Stewart. Sorry about that.
The freeway coming around South Mountain, most of the property on this side of South Mountain has already been purchased. So we essentially know the pathway. And so I support the freeway going around South Mountain. In knocking on doors in Levine, many of the persons who live there welcome the freeway because they believe it will bring shopping centers, it will bring entertainment places for them to come, and they won't have to go all the way uptown or around Ahwatukee. So I do support that. The challenge that we have, and where you would need someone who has the ability to form a consensus, to collaborate, is to work with where the freeway will go on the south side of South Mountain. There is an issue that the Gila Indian Reservation does not want it on their property. Others don't want it near Pecos. So that would have to be worked out. And the skills that I would bring in working with different groups would help to mediate a solution to get the freeway around South Mountain.
Well, I'm for the freeway. I think it would bring jobs. Hopefully we get some of the jobs. When I say we, you know, I mean black folk. I speak for all people, but I sure speak for mine, you know what I'm saying? And I'd like to see that develop in Phoenix. I think we're ready for something like that. So I'm all for it.
Mr. Roberts.
Well, you know, I'm certainly for the 202 freeway and the progress of the city. But I think what we really need to look at is, if you look at the closest that it could be to Central and Baseline is 59th Avenue. That's 59 streets going west. If you look at the I-10 going the other way, it's about 59, 60 streets going east. So right dead in the middle of the district, it's going to be the same distance. So the real question is, how do we help people in the district to get the jobs that are going to be created by all that economic development out to the west? How do we get some of that job creation to start flowing back into the central part of District 8? Certainly I'm for the jobs that will be created. There will be shopping malls, there will be a lot of shopping and that kind of stuff. But how do we parlay that into success in District 8? And I think that's where we got to analyze and look at the economic development that occurs and work with private entrepreneurs and investors to get the business here in the central part of the district.
Thank you.
I sure know when I go visit my family in Levine and how long it takes light after light along Baseline, or if you come out the freeway along Lower Buckeye, that we need the freeway. And I'm in full support of it. And what the freeway will bring to Levine is it will actually bring jobs, but it will also bring a hospital because it will up the density in terms of development in Levine. And when you up density, the hospitals will come in because you'll have enough residents to actually afford the hospital in terms of bodies that can actually populate it. It will also bring other amenities like retail. It might also bring a movie theater. I know that when my nephews are in Levine, we've got to drive all the way out to 99th Avenue or downtown to the AMC Arizona Center to just go to a movie. And so a freeway will bring the development that we all need. And it'll bring also the justice in terms of the retail and the restaurants and the hospitals that we really do need in those neighborhoods. And again, I ask you, why aren't they already there? You need a council member who will fight and ask these real questions. It's not enough anymore for our community just to have a seat at the table. It's what you're going to do with it.